Under normal conditions, I don't do early bird episodes of any of my shows. Those outside of maybe Mets tries, mostly because if I want to get a breakfast item that's out in the fast food market that's popular. With the Mega Mets, my game calls, and even OTD, for the most part, you don't hear from me unless it's like 7, 8 in the night. However, because I do have a day job away from this, and I am completely pissed off over how badly the New York Mets have been playing for the last 2 fucking weeks, we gotta boil down something. Heads need to roll, but the question is whose head is gonna get lopped off? Metaphorically, of course. And to anyone who wants to join, the link is right here in the comments section. Heads need to roll. And a lot of people are blaming two people. One is New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani for his hug of Mr. and Mrs. Met. Because you know the old saying, socialism ruins everything, which it does. The only problem, but the problem with chopping his head off is threefold. One, you could be put in prison for that. Two, he's the mayor, so you can't get rid of him until at least 2029. And three, the only way you're going to be able to get rid of him once and for all and basically put an end to socialist ideology running New York City into the ground is for the SAVE Act to get passed to ensure that none of the illegal criminal migrants in the city are permitted to vote. Because the only reason these fuckwad dimwits vote Democrat is because they'll get something out of it. And Mamdani is playing the role of a fucking tyrant, just like Abigail Sperger, the current governor of Virginia, is, with the recent redrawing of Virginia's congressional maps so that the GOP only have one represent congressional district and the other 10 go to the fucking Democrats. But if you want a direct head to lop off, and trust me, at this point, Met fans want blood, it's Carlos Mendoza. Because this guy, I said from as late as mid-June of last year, is a psychopathic gambler, always making the wrong decision at the worst possible time. And it has reared its ugly head. This team has lost all confidence in him. And personally, there should be a team meeting to have a vote of no confidence, bring it up to Stearns and Mendoza, and drive the point home that Stearns and Cohen, and drive the point home. We don't want this piece of dim-witted shit running us into the ground, running this team into the ground anymore. The Mets are currently in last place, 8 back of Atlanta. You can also argue Stearns' head needs to be lopped off, like I said last time. I mean, eye for an eye. Mendoza owes this fan base a debt. And if he's not gone soon, then blood is going to demand blood, and this fan base is going to get its hands wet. Like I said on Tony's show last night, Carlos Mendoza is like Cornelius Fudge from Harry Potter, a complete disgrace of a manager, a complete disgrace of a baseball mind, and an utter disgrace of a human being. A manic depressed people pleaser who will do anything to sweep the problem under the rug instead of confronting his addictions head on. And in his attempt to try to satiate the people by saying all is well, he's allowed basically the NL East version of Lord Voldemort. And you could argue that Rod Thompson did the same in Philadelphia. The Atlanta Braves to rise from the fucking dead. He should resign or be fired in disgrace and be going down as one of the worst managers in team history. Because what frustrates me is that instead of owning up to his mistakes and holding himself accountable, this dumbass continues to double down on niceties, saying we're getting somewhere when you're actually going down instead of up. I know I'm coming off very moralistic. I tried to stick my neck out for this team, not for this manager. And yet they keep losing because of the manager. It's as much on the players for being too uptight instead of being loose. But that's also a fault of Stearns. He wants players to be cold and efficient, not footloose and fancy free. Do I think Juan Soto will do something now that he's back in the lineup to help this team? Yes and no. What little he does is going to be little more than damage control. And whatever he does, it's nothing more than damage control. There is too much fucking division, and if there's one thing the team is united on, it would be united on. It's getting rid of Mendoza. Wrong button. Enough is enough with this half-witted, dim-witted, half-witted, compulsive gambling, manic depressed son of a bitch. I mean, what does he do to make these dumb decisions? Ingest Scarecrow's fear toxin? Because that's what drives this dimwit. Fear. And at this point, I, myself, and many of the Met fan base want blood. We want fucking blood. How is this team ever going to be fixed if we have a cancerous halfwit in the dugout? I don't know. Is this team making the postseason this year? Fuck no. Will they make it next year? If a collective bargaining agreement's not reached at the end of the year that we can have baseball in 2027, no. And for those who don't know what a collective bargaining agreement is, it's a legally binding contract negotiated between an employer and union representing employees, establishing mandatory employment terms, wages, hours, benefits, safety conditions for a certain stretch, governed by the NLRA or National Labor Relations Act. At this point, once 11:59, before the clock strikes 12 on December 2nd, 2026, there will be another lockout. I mean, owners want cap space, players want contract solidarity, want financial solidarity. Personally, if the 2027 season gets locked out, then so fucking be it. But getting back on topic, enough is enough with Mendoza. I mean, the fact that Cohen is now ejecting fans for saying fire Mendy at Citi Field, that shows that Cohen has bought into Stearns' crap of being harsh and apathetic to the fan base. I've been a fan of this team for basically 30 years now. Through the good and the bad, and this is amongst the worst times. Worse than 2002, worse than 2003 and 2004, worse than 2009, worse than 07, 08, worse than last year, 2023 and 2021. But enough is enough. Heck, I even have Urinate Tree working on a darker, more demented version of his usual Lomets 2026 edition. And whenever he gets around to it. Using as the base Gravity from the show Has Been Hotel. I'm not, as I've mentioned in the past, I'm not a fan of the show, but I do love the soundtrack. And not just me, but this fan base as a whole is loot waiting to kill. Whether it's Mendoza, Mamdani, Stearns, at this point, nobody cares. The fact that Stearns continues to double down on keeping Mendoza in the dugout is no different than what happened with Dable. But when Joe Shane kept going to bat for him until he was left with no choice but to fire him midway through 2025, 2026. It's no different than taking a bullet for Wile E. Coyote, a moron who will never catch that fucking Roadrunner! And why? Because Wiley is too bought into his own fucking hype as a quote-unquote super genius. He always buys from the Acme Corporation, where half of the arsenal he gets is deliberately sabotaged. You want to know why? Because the board of directors at the Acme Corporation are all fucking roadrunners! I'm not making this up. It's in a comic. It's canon. $10 million times he's tried to catch that bird. And all 10 million plus times, he has fucking flopped. I mean, sure, you can argue those are the rules Chuck Jones placed on his Toon Force abilities that restrict the Coyote from ever catching the Roadrunner. I'm only bringing this up in context. And going back to the fudge point with Mendoza, he failed to act and do the right shit, and now the Voldemort of the NL East, Atlanta, is back on top. Mendoza will go down as the man who stepped aside and allowed Atlanta to destroy what has been trying to be rebuilt in New York. Cowardice, incompetence, and stupid and selfishness shine through on this halfwit. Seriously, where's the fucking justice in this world, if there is any? Fuck you, cheeseburger. Oh, and cheeseburger, here's this for you. No, I am not, you piece of shit. It destroys everything. As far as I'm concerned, once Trump gets the evidence on Obama's birth certificate revealing he's a socialist, what's going to happen? Most of those who got vote in through voter fraud are null and void, or at least it's what I'm hoping. And then the SAVE Act goes through, and scum like Mamdani get locked up. Kick him in the nutsack, break his hand, Pillmanize his hands, and take a chair and a sledgehammer and treat the chair like a damn railroad spike in his throat, crushing it. And if it shattered his vocal cords, I wouldn't be too upset. I'm sorry you had to hear that darker aspect of me, folks, but you guys know I have a very short tempered fuse. I'm very short tempered with this shit. Oh, I forgot. You're from the Philippines. You're soccer nuts. Cricket? Seriously, you gotta know what crumpets are. Seriously? Cricket? You want in, Evie? Links in the chat. We haven't talked in a couple of years, so come on in. Besides, I thought it was rugby you guys were more known for. Well, then come on in. Waiting for a caller to get in here, folks. Come on, Evie. Get your ass in here. this point, this Mets team has castrated itself. 45-71 going back to June 13th. I mean, one can argue June 12th, since that's when Sengai tore his calf and became too much of a chicken and allowed his ERA to swell like a balloon. Same thing with Peterson, but the point still applies. Knowing Tree, he's at work already, so I can't bother him. Come on, Amy, get your ass in here. Okay. Come on, Evie, get your ass in here, damn it. I still believe that the Mets should have heads roll soon. If this keeps up, Mendoza and Cohen and Stearns will have no choice but to hear the fans. I'm sick of these arrogant, they're doing fine, he's doing fine mindset when it's clear he's not. We're still stuck at 7 wins after 2 fucking weeks, tied with the Royals for the worst record in baseball because of this incompetent bozo. And how do you fucking fix this? I don't know. One thing's for certain, you don't do it by getting rid of the heart of the damn team. Give me a moment. It's been almost 10 minutes, Evie. Get in here. Come on, you son of a bitch. Look, I'm sorry if personal hygiene came first. I get that. But you could have said that before I sent you the damn link. Having said that, what is it going to take to fix this Met team? Well, the simple answer would be to fire Carlos Mendoza, but even then, as I mentioned, with Soto coming back tonight, that's little more than damage control. I mean, that answer is little more than damage control. Won't get the Mets completely out of the basement, but considering that Philly has also lost 7 in a row in their own right, maybe they'll do something, though not much. Again, if we don't get a clear-cut collective bargaining agreement in the offseason, odds are 2027 will have a damn lockout. One thing I do think that needs to be done in the new CBA agreement, penalize teams for money deferral. I'm looking at you, Dodgers. Teams that defer the money, about time.
Hey,
Sorry about the rudeness, Evie. Sorry about.
so
So what?
so about Mandami, yeah, he's been screwing up the city a lot lately. Like when I seen the news about him a lot,
Why do you think I've been saying for guys like Jose and yourself, it's time for the two of you to get out of there?
and that's the point. When let's say this, more people are getting out because of the how New York right now in the moments like they're just charging people taxes and it's
Well,
getting
this is what happens
ridiculous.
when you have a fucking socialist in charge. But
Yeah,
back to the Mets. Who's to blame, Mandami or Mendoza?
Mendoza's not to blame, but Mandami is because think about it. At both athletes, like how much money they make anyways for the athletes. Do you think?
I'm putting accountability on the one who watches the shit go on the field and operates it. That's Mendoza. The fact that he
It's
constantly
true.
gambles away games on bad decisions, and the fact that suffers from manic depression, according to his wife, that's a sign that he's not qualified to be a manager. He should be in a psych ward.
That's true. But still, the thing is, with Mendoza, well, he shouldn't be qualified for things like this, to be honest. Like if you want to manage the team, he shouldn't be like doing it in the wrong way because if he manages in the wrong way, the team will lose, to be honest.
And that's what it's been doing. And Stearns is saying he's doing fine, letting the house burn around him while he's sitting in the kitchen with a fucking cup of coffee.
Yep.
And what's your argument for wanting Mandami's head lopped off, so to speak?
Well, here's the thing with Ndam needs need to be knocked off because I know it's not just only what's going on in housing all those empty promises and all the stuff that I seen. Also, at the moment right now, New York City is getting cooked at the moment. And
What do you mean?
depending on, huh?
What do you mean?
Getting cooked. That's in, as in they're in a bit of a financial situation at the moment.
Oh,
Because like once, let's say this, if the Mets moved out of Queens, moved somewhere else, just like when I see what's going on with the Aqueduct racetrack because they couldn't afford much of the land.
that's a horse racing track, right?
Yeah, it's true.
I was asking, is that a horse racing track?
Yeah.
Is that near Yonkers?
No, it's in Queens.
Oh,
The Yonkers is harness racing.
but it's also horse racing, right?
Yeah, because there's two different types of horse racing. Thoroughbreds, like it's on like the jockey's on the horse, while harness is like you're on the bike and the horse kind of pull you.
So chariot racing, essentially.
Yeah,
But having that being said,
yeah,
when do you think the Mets are going to cut bait and fire Mendoza and let Correa try his hand? I mean, look at what it did for the Phillies in 2022 when they fired Girardi and replaced him with Thompson. Good short-term success, right?
yeah. But yeah, be aware which manager who's managed because sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad. If it's like bad as him, uh, Mets gonna be in a lot of trouble to be honest.
Well, not everybody can be a Bobby Valentine replacing Dallas Green
Yeah,
or a Jerry Manuel replacing Willie Randolph, even though actually Jerry was even worse than Willie.
yeah. And on top of that, like with all situation where I know about like with City Field, so which is formerly known as Shea Stadium. Well, they end
City
up having
Field
a
was a
casino nearby very soon in Flushing.
But all I'm saying is, Mamdani claims to be a Met fan, but he's just a fucking people pleaser and a leech. This is why
Yep,
you don't want socialists running your political state. And for Mendoza, on the other hand, he never should have been the manager to begin with. He stumbled into success in 24 and let his fame get to his head in 25 and
yeah,
screwed the pooch when he got paranoid. And it's gone downhill since last June. He's got to go.
that's true. And the thing is,
And what's it going to take
like
for this team
how
to lose?
how
Just answer me this: what's it going to take for Stearns and Cohen to pull their heads out of their asses to fire him? For this team to lose 20 in a row?
well the only thing is if the Mets fans are waking up and realize what's going on with the management, that's what will happen when they're gonna be losing their fan base.
I think they already are. Only 32,000 showed up last night.
True.
And the worse and worse it gets, the more it puts Stearns and Cohen's under the guns to fire Mendoza. And when they finally do, will this bring the fans back? No, but it depends on their pace, the way they play once he's gone.
That's true. And the thing is, if they care about the fans so much, they should just make the team better. And I don't know much what they do with the Mets a lot because I used to watch baseball back then,
I'll
and
put it
when it
like
was Shea
this:
Stadium.
David Stearns is an unbearable skinflint. He goes for dumpster dive free agency pickups on the cheap. He has no
Yeah,
loyalty to the long term play to the fan favorite players, and he'll say, "I sacrificed everything, and no one's grateful." When no, he sacrificed everyone else.
that's true.
And yes, I kind of paraphrased the argument between Ironwood and Winter in Ruby Volume 8 in the Volume 8 finale of Ruby. But you get my point.
Yep.
Anyway, I think I'm done for this episode of OTE. Thanks for showing up, BB.
No problem at all. But anyways, I'm gonna eat a bit, but also have to get to work soon anyway, right?
I know. Later. Like I said, I'm done with this episode of OTE. I gotta get ready for work myself in a couple of hours. Comment, like, and subscribe. I apologize for the tirades, but having said that, that's just the way I fucking feel right now. Goodbye and good fucking night. Bang.